Perry, with that light coming down this way, I look more like a raccoon.
You want to come from underneath?
The light, maybe. There you are.
You know I can still hear you when I get kicked off, right? this freaking guy.
This freaking guy.
Let's just get started without him.
I said, look, I don't need this guy. I've been carrying him long enough.
Yeah, right on, right
on. So.
Oh, you guys are live. Hello.
Yeah, we're live. We're live.
How are you guys?
Hey.
Let's do it right.
We're live. So you were telling me, Tony Ramos.
Yeah. Long story short, Denise Ramos, Tony Ramos. So someone texted me just a random number, said, "Hey, this is my new number." Well, I added Denise Ramos's number under Tony Ramos, so I have all these Tony Ramos texts, and then I have Denise Ramos texts underneath it, and I was absolutely confused. So anyway,
that's why I said to you last night, I'm like,
I know. So never mind. Forget about it.
Well, welcome everyone. Join in the fun and the festivities here. Pretty good night, pretty good day at the school.
Well, yeah, man, it was a good day. Yeah, with 3 enrollments, an upgrade, and sold some sparring packages and some equipment, and yeah, it was good.
It's great, man.
Complain.
It's great. Things are coming back with a vengeance. They're still rolling. Hey, hello everybody. Mr. Munding, Miss Angelieri, Mr. Ray Saltamaccio. Is that right? I'm sorry.
Looks right. Phonetically speaking.
Say hello, everybody. Let's see who else is here. Who else is watching? It's Thursday already, Tass. It's Thursday.
Where does the time go?
There he is. The most genuine guy, greatest guy, martial artist, community relations, Mr. Jason Flame.
What's happening? And Bautista's on. Look at you.
Hello, sir.
Good.
Oh, wow. So I did say it right. I'm not going to try to say it again, but he said very good. So, Mr. Ray. So, there it is. Tass, are you frozen again? Yeah. Something. Mr. Josh, how are you, sir? Mr. McGraw, Mr. Peter Johnson, Mr. Mark Moore. How are you guys? Mr. Tim Flynn, Mr. John Stewart, Daria Gross. Good to see everybody. As soon as Wisconsin gets strong internet, he'll be joining us consistently. But we're talking about why don't more students do martial arts? And I don't know if you guys saw my post, but I put a post out there, and our social media director, Miss Ramos, made it, and Master Bolton. She texted me a lot of the answers, if you can see that, of what people responded on. Why don't more people train in martial arts? Well, look, I don't know how you can effectively market if you don't know the reasons why they don't train to begin with, right? So I think it's important to understand why more people don't train in the martial arts. However, there's another little secret that we're going to go over too. And look who's back. Tass, welcome back.
Devices and try this here and see if this
Very good. Very good. So, hey, I got exciting news for everybody, and I know specifically Josh Arsmont. Am I saying that right too, sir? Arsmont? I know you bring in a lot of people. I know you brought in a lot of people, and you got Mr. Ricardo Laborio coming in. You bring in people to do seminars and stuff. Well, I'm excited to say that just this week, I was introduced to somebody who is coming tomorrow at 11 a.m. to train. And this is not something I'm charging for. This is just my instructors, our CMA licensees, instructors. But we have Lyoto Machida coming to do a workout tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern time. We're excited about training with Mr. Lyoto Machida. That's going to be fun, I think. And what a super, super, super guy who's coming out, and doing this as a favor. And I couldn't appreciate that more. I mean, just unbelievable that he's coming out and working with my instructors, with the instructors. And he asked specifically, am I doing a seminar? He goes, you want me to do a seminar? I said, no, I want you to work them out. I want you to do a class, work them out. And there goes Tass again, trying to figure out the old internet. So anyway, all right, let's dive in and let's see if Tass figures out this brand new invention of internet and Wi-Fi and how this works. But anyway, all right, why aren't more students training in martial arts? So let me give you a couple things here, guys, that may or may not help you. Something that I try to train my teams on, and number one, and this is something that you should really write down, and this is not going to be like a debate. It's not whether you believe it or not, because if you come up with a reason, for example, like a lot of you posted, like, why aren't more people training in the martial arts? Some people said time, effort, motivation, COVID, ego, instructor first impressions, if they're old, overweight, or bad technique, finding the right martial arts that fits you, delayed gratification, on and on and on and on and on and on. Okay. First of all, you have to set the buying criteria, because your average person who's never stepped foot in a martial arts school only knows martial arts through what they've heard or have seen in the movies or on TV, right? We take for granted, especially if you grew up in the martial arts. I don't know what's going on here with Tass. That we live, this is like our normal world. This is our everyday world. I think some of us forget how intimidating it is to walk into a martial arts school, right? For the average person who's never walked into a martial arts school. Also, let's see. Sorry, guys. Mr. Shane's trying to get in here. Let's see. No? All right. He'll figure it out. But anyway, we forget how intimidating it is for somebody to walk into a martial arts school. And that goes for a child or an adult, right? So when is it that somebody comes into your martial arts school? The question is why aren't more people doing martial arts? Well, how many people are living their everyday life thinking, I got to get into martial arts? They're not thinking that, right? Parents for kids aren't thinking that until something goes on with their kid. For example, the child comes home because he just saw his friend is in martial arts. So he said, Mom or Dad, I want to do martial arts. I want to do martial arts. Well, now it's on their radar. But that doesn't always happen, right? Number one. Number two, a movie comes out, The Karate Kid, right? Whether it was, I remember when the Karate Kid with Jaden Smith came out, there was a big influx. I think Cobra Kai has given us a big influx on the teen market. I mean, we've seen it in our schools, and that's helped, right? So something has to trigger somebody in their daily life and routine to say, I want to do martial arts. Now, if you wind up your 200 people in your community and you ask, how many of you want to do martial arts? We're not going to see a lot of hands. But if you asked everybody in the community, how many people would really like to be in great shape? Well, I think everybody would like to be in great shape. How many of you would like to know that if you're faced with a situation, you have a better knowledge of how to defend yourself? How many of you would like to understand better on how to defend yourself? Well, every hand would go up, right? How would you like to, guys, how would all of you like to be a part of a community where you get to meet new people that share the same goal, where you can relieve stress and just get away for an hour, a few days a week? Well, every adult would like that, right? So it's about setting the buying criteria. And when you, Tassoul's texting saying nothing is connecting. We're having a big blackout of internet in Wisconsin, I guess, where internet, it seems to be down. So the thing is if you are marketing your martial arts school, and all of your ads are martial arts, martial arts, martial arts. Well, not many people are interested in martial arts. They're interested in the benefits and the values that martial arts gives. So you got to market that stuff first and foremost, and say, well, hey, by the way, did you ever think about martial arts? You can get in shape. You can relieve stress. You can learn how to defend yourself. Like, so you have to hit the values and benefits and market that first and foremost. Now, here's another little secret that we found. Okay. The other thing is, for example, we have a school that is literally almost across the street from an elementary school in a community. It's where our headquarters is, our office, our corporate headquarters. It's where I'm sitting now, right? This is a big office. This building is, there's retail below, there's a Pizza Hut, a nail salon, our martial arts school, a Trusco bank, there's retail below. And on the second floor of the building, there's a bunch of offices. Well, this is where we're at. Right across the street from us is an elementary school, has 600, 700, 800 kids, whatever the number is, right? We've been in this community, and it's a community, it's its own neighborhood, right? Since 2000 and almost 20 years in this location, almost 20 years, right? Here's what's amazing, and this is what I want all of you to understand. What's amazing about this is we've been here that long, and they will get a trickle or an influx of students, right? But what's crazy is if we go do a program in the elementary school that's right across the street from us, I mean, everyone knows we're here. But if we go do a program in that elementary school, they will sign up 15, 20 students on that weekend. And I'm not exaggerating the numbers, everybody. I mean, the school below has like 300 students, close to 300 students. They have 3,000 square feet, close to 300 students in this school. But I always said to my team, isn't it amazing that when we sit and everyone in this little community, they know the martial arts school is here, but where are they? Why aren't they joining, right? Well, when we go do a program, now we get all these new students. Hey, welcome to the party, Mr. Tassoul.
Well, we'll see. Third time's a charm, maybe. But I can't see, so I'm not hopeful.
All right, well, stay with us. But anyway, here's the thing, Tass, what we're talking about is why aren't more people doing martial arts? And I talked about you got to market the values and benefits of martial arts. You can't market martial arts because I'm not interested in martial arts. I'm interested in the results of martial arts. And then I talked about, you've been here a million times, Tass, Avalon Park. We got the elementary school right across the street. Why is it that we're not getting a constant influx of students all the time? And we can sit here for 2 months, get a trickle of students, but as soon as we go across the street into that school, do a school program, they'll sign up 15, 20 students on that weekend, on that Saturday in a mass intro. Well, did all of a sudden, were those people going to come in that weekend anyway and just say, I want to sign up for martial arts? No. What we did is we went out into the community, we inspired the children, we showed these kids the values and benefits for them. The values and benefits to a child is different than the values and benefits for a parent or for an adult. What we do is we go into the school and we show them how martial arts can be fun, how it can be engaging, how it can be, challenging and fun, and you have fun with your friends. We invite them back to the school, and all of a sudden, you get 15 to 20 new enrollments, right? That's my point. My point is even if you've been in a town, this is point number one, right? Where you've been here, you have a sign, you're sending out mailers. Like, by the way, if we send out mailers, social media, do this, we'll still get a trickle. But if I get in front of my market and I can get them to feel the martial arts, right? We can now inspire them. However, the biggest mistake that we make is when a lot of people go and teach a program in a school, you're focused so much on the lesson plan of martial arts, you're not focused on the anchors to get them inspired to come to your school, because you're not going to teach any child martial arts in 1 hour and be done. You're not that good of an instructor where you can teach someone for an hour and then leave them for the rest of their life. And now they can say, I'm a martial artist. Doesn't happen. So you got to understand the goal. The goal is to inspire them to get them to join martial arts, right? And we do. And by the way, we keep that same style and that system. We don't do a bait and switch on these people, but now we get people to enroll. So that's point one. Tass, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, I think, it's interesting. I was talking to a client earlier and we were just talking about mindset changes, and, he's a big Tony Robbins fan. And I asked him, I said, well, have you ever watched Ed Milet? And he said, I've never heard of the guy. Well, Ed Milet's got millions of followers, right? So how is it possible this guy's never heard of him? Same thing. Remember when P90X was hot, right? I could talk to people about P90X and they're like, what's P90X? I'm like, they've spent billions on marketing. You don't know what P90X is? I mean, it just blows me away. And so the market's huge, number one, and flyers and ads and postcards and all that stuff will get a trickle, will get people to come in, right? But there's nothing better than being in front of your audience. And so I think if you can think about how to shape this, when you do your marketing, maybe that marketing, if you're doing Facebook ads as an example, and you're doing a picture, well, that might not be as inspiring as opposed to a video as an example, where you can get out in front of your audience and inspire them. So, think about that in your marketing. What can you do and how can you get these people into your school? But, we always talk about face-to-face marketing is the best form of marketing that there is. And that will always be the case because you're getting a level of emotion involved. And so if you back that emotion into all your other levels of marketing, the best that you can, whether that's great copywriting, right? As far as, writing out your emails or your Facebook ads, whether it's videos or whatever it is, how can you inspire? How can you deliver the values and the benefits? Inspire me to want to take action, take the next step. And, I don't remember where we were talking about this, but I was always saying, you have to plan what is the next step that you're trying to accomplish with your prospect, with your student, with anybody, right? I want to take it from an intro. I want to get them enrolled. If they don't enroll, I'm not going to wait to hear back. I'm going to reschedule them for another class time to come in. If it's an upgrade, if you do upgrades, right? If they're not ready to upgrade today, I'm going to reschedule them, give them some time to come back in. I'm always pulling them, and I'm always very clear and deliberate about what is that next step so that we can inspire them and we can get them to take action of some sort. I think, to your point, when you're talking about school programs, it's not just in going and teaching a class in the curriculum. It's like, what is the mission? What are we trying to accomplish? And what's the best way to accomplish that? And that's creating enough emotion in the school or in whatever group you're in front of to get them to come to your school where you can create more emotion, whether it's break a board, whatever you're going to do, and then get them where they're going to, take that next step and they're going to buy. That's a sales cycle. But like Met said, we deliver on all that stuff. It's not a bait and switch. And they have an unbelievable experience. Last night, we had a yellow belt that came in, tried our Black Belt Club class, and our instructor put him up in front and had him do the student creed. And I was walking to go grab a uniform for a new student, and this yellow belt, 9-year-old yellow belt, was doing the student creed. He was saying it while everyone else was repeating after him. I literally stopped in my tracks. And I got the chills because this kid completely rocked out the student creed. I looked at his mom. His mom literally was crying. She's like, I had no idea he even knew that. And she and the kid's he's in a emotionally behavior disorder group at school. So he's in a separate classroom and you would have never guessed it. So he was the one trying out Black Belt Club. He delivers that, gets the emotion. Mom's crying, comes in the office and we talk about, how's your son doing? How do you think the training's going? Well, of course, she had nothing but praises to say. So it's all about getting that emotion, within your students and what is the next step for them, whether that's a new student upgrade, so on and so forth. And those are the values. When she saw her kid do that, she did not think he was capable of that, and she didn't even know that he knew it. So it's pretty incredible. Those are some really cool stories, and those are the inspirational things that get people to take action.
It is. And by the way, Mr. Krebs, no, you can put questions in the comment box. Just put questions. We'll try to get to them as we go through. So any questions you have, anybody, just put questions there or thoughts or whatever. Here's the next thing. You have to get out of your own way, some of you in the industry, that sales is bad, that sales is negative. Sales is not negative. Sales is negative when you're trying to sell somebody that you really don't believe in. Sales is bad when you're trying to sell something to somebody that's not going to benefit them. I think that's when sales are bad.
And Metz, to your point,
Go ahead.
To your point, Metz, I think it was, I remember you saying this, like, if you had the cure for cancer, wouldn't you be like going and shouting that off of the rooftops to everybody, right? Of course you would. And so we've got the cure for kids, for students, whatever that cure is, right? Making the best versions of themselves, whatever it is. We need to be that passionate about what we see, what we say, and what we do and what we teach.
And by the way, here's the problem though. Do all of you have the cure for what people are needing? Do you guys sell something to someone where you're not the cure? And then I always bring this example up because it's the most extreme, real example I've ever been faced with. When a single mom brought in her 7-year-old and said, I want to sign him up. And I'm saying, you know, what is it that you'd like to see him get out of martial arts? What made you decide to join martial arts? She said, I'm a single mom. It's just him and I at the house. And I want to know that there's a man in the house. I want to make sure he's the man of the house and that he could protect us if we ever were in danger. I said, ma'am, that's definitely going to happen. But you got to give me about 10, 12 more years because it's not going to happen at 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. It's just not going to happen unless a bunch of 9-year-olds come and attack your house. Then maybe there's a chance he could protect you, you know, but not against a grown man. I said, so I just want to make sure you understand the expectations. But some of you, if you're selling stuff that you can't deliver on, that's a problem. But you have to sell. You have to sell the values and benefits of martial arts that you can deliver on, because most people have no idea. And that's why, and I said earlier, we live in this bubble. So to us, it's like common knowledge. Think about all the relationships you made from being in the martial arts. I mean, imagine if you weren't in the martial arts, how would your life be different today if you never stepped foot in a martial arts school? Is your life more positive because you've done martial arts? A parent that has a kid running home from school saying, my friend Johnny does karate, mom, I want to do karate. I want to do karate. Well, that parent has no idea what they're about to possibly sign up for. You have to sell it to them, but you got to deliver. So please get out of this stupidity of the McDojos where just because people are selling, right? It's okay to sell if you deliver, right? It's okay. So you have to sell the vision and educate your community or educate your prospects on really what they're signing up for. Like, Mrs. Johnson, do you understand that this decision today can alter the rest of your child's life forever? Do you understand that? And let me explain how, right? And that's kind of, that's powerful, right? But you got to deliver. You got to make sure that you do deliver and can help kids with focus issues or discipline issues. Or the guy, by the way, adults that want to get in shape, and you said martial arts will get you in shape. Do your adult students leave every single night sweating in some capacity? Because if they don't, you're not getting them in shape.
Right.
You're not. And some of you focus so much on kata or technique or memorization or, you know, grabbing wrists, doing your self-defense techniques, which I'm all for, but that's not going to get me in shape. That's not going to get me in shape, right? So you need to structure your classes so you're hitting all the values and benefits that your customer wants. And by the way, that they also need. I believe a martial artist should be in shape, but I'm not going to get in shape just learning memorization. So while you're selling this to people, are you delivering? And you got to be honest with yourself. Okay.
And Matt, so couple things on that. You know, you say that, you know, I think you made a comment like, well, you know, it's commonplace for us. We live in it every day. And I don't know that all of us realize how we teach the values and benefits of what we do. I think oftentimes, like when I came up as a kid, I was, you know, I started training when I was 9 years old, right? And I attribute a lot of the things in my life to my martial arts training. But I would tell you, martial arts training was first, and the byproduct of the martial arts training was the life skills that came later, right? And I think in today's world, you need to think about, well, parents aren't coming in so their kid can put like a 360 jump spin hook kick on their resume. That's not why they're there, right? Like that, the martial arts is secondary. And don't, haters are going to hate, but it's secondary. We're trying to deliver confidence, focus, discipline, respect. How do we do that? So for those of you that have been following us for a while, we have our 4-step enrollment process, which is, number one is, what do you want your child to accomplish? And outside of fun, we know that that's what kids want. We'll deliver that, right? But what do you want, Mrs. Smith? Confidence, focus, discipline, respect, whatever it is. And they say confidence. And I know that there's so many schools that will say, well, listen, martial arts is unbelievable for building confidence. You're going to see a big difference in no time. And I'm just so excited for you guys. And his confidence level is going to start to skyrocket and soar. Just wait. Well, that's all hyperbole. That's not a specific example of how you teach confidence in your school. But when I say to Mrs. Smith, listen, you want your child to learn confidence? Let me give you an example. Like last night, and I used this. I said, ma'am, you want to know how we teach confidence in our school? I said, this is a perfect example. Did you see your son? He got called up to do the student creed, and he literally crushed the student creed. Even though he was being called to do something that was awesome, that we knew he could perform, that takes a lot of courage to do that. And to deliver it the way that he did, imagine, now I'm using like future pacing, imagine what he's going to be like a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, in the confidence level that he's going to have, because he's been put in these different scenarios. And when he gets in a room full of people, and maybe that's at school, or maybe we get him out of that EVD room into a regular classroom, and the confidence he's going to have in that classroom, or maybe it's in the workforce later on, when he's got the confidence to get up in front of his team and be able to deliver whatever it is, a speech or this or that. This is what it's all about. So I think a lot of us need to step back and say, how specifically, because every school may do it a little different, but how do you teach respect in your school? And write out 2 or 3 sentences specifically on how you teach that. Well, how do you teach confidence? How do you teach respect? How do you do those things in your school? And by the way, that becomes part of your USP, if you will, your unique selling proposition, because how you do it may be different than how somebody else does it. It doesn't mean it's right or wrong, but if you can start to uncover that, that's also going to help you in your marketing, as opposed to hearing later that, hey, martial arts changed my kid's life. Okay, well, do you know how you did that? Can you go back? Are there breadcrumbs on how you got there or not? And then lastly, I would say this, if you're not sure, right? Like, well, listen, our kids have a lot more confidence, but I can't put my finger on what, it just happens. Like over time, it just happens. Well, if you can't market it that way, then what I would suggest you do is just throw on your video and start talking to parents. Hey, what was the reason you guys got your child started martial arts? Well, what's happened since you guys got him enrolled? What's the biggest takeaway? And let them be the testimonial for you. And I think it might have been Jay Abraham, but it was, you need to have enough testimonials to choke a horse. And so as you get all these testimonials and people are saying, we brought him for confidence and this is what happened. We brought him for respect and this is what happened. We brought him for discipline. Other people watching that marketing, if you will, are going to go, I can relate to that. That's my kid. That's exactly where my kid is at. And those are things that are going to help build your school to the next level. And those are great things. Talking about getting face-to-face marketing, that would be the next best thing in getting that emotion up, is hearing somebody else say that, not just the instructor necessarily. So I think there's a couple big takeaways. And then the last thing on that is, we were doing, the kids the other night in class were running down halfway to the mat, and then they were doing a 2-foot hop over the shield, right? To a parent, that could look like it's a game, right? And it's a warm-up for us. It is what it is. Some kids were leading with 1 leg and not 2 legs. And we stopped. They said, no, this is what it's got to look like. I want to see 2 feet. But then I gave, well, what is the value behind that? Because when we do this 2-foot squat, right, and jump over the bag, it's building our leg muscles. Our legs are longer and stronger. So if we ever have to defend ourselves, we want to have great leg strength. Or when we do our jump kicks later, we're going to want to have that leg strength. So everything that you teach on the floor, can you immediately shift over to the parents? Say, parents, this is why we're doing this. And this is the value and this is the benefit behind what we're doing and why we're doing it, as opposed to letting them come to conclusions as to why you're doing certain things on the floor, which may be perceived as just fun or games or whatever it may be. I think if you take those couple things into consideration, you're going to have a whole different perspective of what you do and what you can accomplish in your school and be able to deliver that to the parents.
So you have to be able to give specifics, right? Let me address this question here. Can you still not see, Tess, or can you see?
I know I can see now.
All right. So inspiration. It's a miracle.
Thank you. I can see.
How to inspire adults to join? That seems difficult in my small community. I'm often asking myself, first of all, it's about getting out into your community and having the conversation with them through a free self-defense seminar, through a community event, right? Through something to where you are in front of them and having the conversation of, what's the one biggest thing for yourself that you'd like to see yourself accomplish in 2021? Well, if you ask them that question in January, for example, they're going to give you answers, but answers aren't good enough because answers, for example, 2021 is the year I'm going to get in shape. 2021 is the year I want to get healthier. 2021 is the year I'm going to lose some weight. If it's an adult, right? If it's a child, it's, I'd like to see my child, get better focused and disciplined or confidence or whatever it is, physical activity, whatever it is. But then you got to ask why. You got to ask them, why is that the answer you gave me, right? And especially when you're sitting with somebody one-on-one and you ask them why, sometimes they don't know why. It's an automatic response. I mean, all these adults in our country, it's New Year's. What's your New Year's resolution? I got to lose a few pounds. Do you really got to lose a few pounds? Are you really going to? Do you really want to? Are you willing to do what it takes? Why do you want to lose a few pounds? Oh, I got to lose it. Okay, so let's say you lose pounds. What does that mean? How are you going to feel when you lose a few pounds? What does that mean to you? What is life like now that you lost some pounds? Let me tell you how I'm going to hold your hand and get you those results, how I'm going to get that accomplished, but a fun way, a different way than just going to the gym every day, like you may have tried every other previous year, right? Because if we're sitting here today and you're still saying you got to lose a few pounds, you got off track somewhere, right? Can I tell you how we can get you that and keep those results? But you got to back it up. The problem is, and I'm going to say this to all of you, if you're school owners, how many of you would like to increase revenue in your school? Now, forget the dumb reasons in your own mind why I just want to teach because I want to impact the community. So do I, but I also want to make more money. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, if you want to increase revenue in your school, do you or don't you? Yes, I do. Why? You got to tell me why. I want to impact more people in my community. Why do you want to impact more people in your community? Tell me why, right? I want you to get that vision of what it would be like if you can add another $30,000 a month in revenue to your school and add another 150 students, 200 students in your community that are training with you. Why is that important to you? Now, by the way, we can help you. We can help you do that. But this isn't a sales pitch where I'm sitting here getting feedback from everybody, right? But what's it going to take for you to trust us and try us out? Well, whatever you're thinking right now is the same thing your prospect is thinking when they're sitting across from you. If you really know you can help them, how do you convey that to show them? Well, you got to give specifics. You got to have testimonials. If this was a sales show, I'd be bringing up some of our Maya clients, telling them, what were you doing when you first started with us? How are you doing now? And you know what people do when you do that? They sign off. They run from it because now it's a sales pitch. So you got to know how to inspire people and get them in the building and get them interested so they're not running off and at least they'll hear what you have to say. But every single person on here, we know we can help 100%. There's not one person on here that I know we can't help grow your school or whatever it is that you want to do professionally in your martial arts business. But not all of you are jumping on with Maya, right? Now, by the way, you may jump on with another consultant. You may jump on into another group, which is fine. But the same mental blocks you all have of looking at somebody that starts selling, and I have it too. What do you do when somebody calls your phone and it's a solicitor? Instinct, we hang up. I mean, a lot of times we hang up, right? We don't even want to hear it. Well, man, I wonder, was that the call that was going to change my life possibly? So how do you get the engagement to allow them to hear what it is you can really do? Well, the way we do it is we go out in our community. The way we do it is when we market on the values and benefits of what we know the community is looking for, to try to get them to engage us, while at the same time we're going out to engage them. You got to do both. You can't do one or the other. The one point I want to say, and then Tass, I'll throw it to you and I'll look at some questions here. But by the way, Jason Flame, yeah, sell from a service mindset. It's exactly right. You know, I tell my team this all the time. Stop focus so much on the close. Don't focus so much on the sale. Have a conversation with your prospect and really get to know them and what they're wanting. And then speak from the heart. How are you going to help them? Can you really help them? I mean, that's why I hate scripts. I like concepts, right? But at the end of the day, there is some sales here because they have no idea what they're really signing up for if they've never done martial arts. But the one point I want to say is, and I said this last time, I think, everyone that comes in your school can afford your lessons. And that's the one thing that I keep saying. I know I said this a week ago or 2 weeks ago, but when people say I can't afford it, okay, pay attention now. When people say I can't afford this or this is too much, that's a true statement based on the lifestyle they're currently living. And an example of that would be, I go out to, I buy lunch every day. I buy Starbucks every day. I get a coffee every day. And I'm not, as a consumer, I'm not thinking about that. I just know I don't have any money left over at the end of every month to spend $150 or $100 or whatever you charge for martial arts lessons. But if you can show enough value where somebody sees what you really can do for them, if you really think you can change their life and you can convey how you do that, they will then say, I need to figure out how I can have myself here, or I need to figure out how I can have my child here. I got to figure it out. And they'll go home and they'll say, I'm going to start packing a lunch every day. I'm not going to buy a lunch because I got to have my child here. This is going to be so good for him or her, right? It's about how much value you can create. So don't get in the mindset of, I'm in a small town, they can't afford it. Well, then what are you doing? Might as well shut your doors, because you're not going to change the town. You're not going to change the per capita income of your town. So get it out of your head. Forget that. What are you going to do that's different? Well, don't say I'm going to lower my price to $20 a month, because you're going to close your doors eventually anyway if you do that. You got to see how you can increase the value, the perception of value that you're delivering, and then you must back it up or it'll be short-lived. But you got to increase the value of what you're offering. Go ahead, Tass.
Yeah, so Mr. Krebs, the rest of that statement was, inspiration, how to inspire adults to join. That seems difficult in my small community. I'm often asking myself, what am I doing wrong? And listen, I don't want to go off on a different tangent, but I would tell you this. Number one, stop asking yourself what you're doing wrong, because you will come up with answers of things that you're doing wrong. Instead of that question, you need to ask yourself a better question. What can I do to inspire the adults in my community to come in and get started, right? And if we think about the adult market, now this is kind of true, not true, depends on your style, right? If you're MMA, it may be different than if you're Krav, maybe different if you're karate. But think of sometimes the hoops that people have to jump through, like they're coming in, and if your ideal client, is I don't care if male, female. I started when I was 9 years old. It was not a big deal for me to throw on a white uniform, get out there in my pajamas, and go train. It wasn't a big deal. But to a full-grown adult, to put on a white uniform, which is not very flattering, by the way, especially if you're deconditioned and you're out of shape, then go barefoot, bow on the floor. There's some hoops to jump through for them to get on that floor. And once they're on that floor, they can have a lot of fun. But it's oftentimes those hoops that they don't want to get through that's stopping them from getting on the floor, which is why we have parents come on the floor and help out with classes to get them through that. It's to get them inspired, which is also why we do free self-defense workshops for the adults. So they're in their street clothes, and we give them the experience and show them how they can be excited and have fun doing this, and then slowly indoctrinate them into our program. So there's ways to be able to do that, right? But just think about, what can I do? Instead of what am I doing wrong, what can I do to inspire these adults, number one. Number two is, Metz said it. He's saying how confident we are that we can help change your school. And I know a lot of you feel that same way about how you feel like you can help change somebody's life. But as an owner, right, you're supposed to say those things. And so people sometimes don't believe it. And this is why I think, having testimonial videos is just crucially important. And I remember now, as I'm thinking, I've been back in my school for, for 6 weeks on a consistent basis. I was out of my school, full-time team, and for 5 years, right? I was in and out, but not there at nighttime. And I remember when I was at the school, and I used to do the intro lessons, I would find another parent, one of our rock star parents, and I would introduce that intro parent to that rock star parent. And they would start having a conversation. I'd be like, hey guys, I'll be right back. And that parent would tell them how great the program is, how much they love it, and why they got started and what changed for their child. And so that parent was doing a lot of selling because it came from somebody else. So when you shoot videos or testimonial videos and you see, or Star Student is a great way to do this, where you highlight a student and maybe you have a little video. It's like a 30-second video of the student doing all kinds of cool stuff at your school. Maybe it's a couple questions that you ask the parent. It's just a little 30-second video. Hey, how'd you guys hear about us? Why'd you guys get your child signed up? What differences have you noticed? Would you recommend us to other schools? And you put the parent giving their explanation and seeing highlight shots of that kid, and they're going to post that Star Student video on their Facebook page. And then what's going to happen? Other parents are going to start saying, well, I didn't know you had Johnny over at doing martial arts. It's really done all this for him? Well, maybe I need to look at that. And they're more likely to listen to somebody else potentially than they are you. And that's how you cast your net wider and you get more people into your school. So, we got to utilize the resources that we have. We're supposed to sell it. We're supposed to see how great it is. And I'm pretty transparent. When I talk to parents, I tell them, listen, let me introduce you to some other parents. We also do this when you hear us talk about foundations or Elite or any of our programs. You want to talk to clients, you want to talk to past clients, let me know. Because I want to plant the seed in their head like, listen, I'm supposed to tell you how great it is. But if you want to talk to any of our parents, they'll give you their perspective. And it just gives them reassurance that, hey, there's a lot of people that are here for a reason. It's not just me trying to sell them on the idea of doing it for their kids. So anything that we can do to motivate or be inspirational, recently, our schools, right, so the CMA schools and the CMA team have put together some amazing videos for the purpose of inspiring and creating emotion. So when people are sitting down with us, we can show them the video, and that helps bump that emotion up, and they see other people doing it. They see the emotion behind it. So there's so many things that we can be doing and really getting the word out there. And look, there is a tidal wave of new students coming. They've been coming. They're going to continue to come. And you have an opportunity right now. And right now is the opportunity, but they will not find you if you're not out there trying to be found. You need to do your part. You need to get in front of the community, which is also why we do a lot of free community events, is because we want to bring them into a free community event where we can inspire them and motivate them and get them to come into our program. So that's my, mindset number one. Ask yourself some better questions, and then how can I, and then start making your list and start knocking out your list. I think that's just something to consider. We always, and that was a Tony Robbins thing, right? The quality of our life is based off of the quality of the questions that we ask ourselves. So if you don't like where you're at, start asking yourself different questions. I know that's easier said than done.
There's a question here. How do you get around the cost concern initially? Most interest always starts with how much our class is. That's true. That's right. And in the industry, or in any sales, by the way, what do? They teach you to ignore that question and, deflect and ask another question, right? Which is fine, but I don't like necessarily doing that. Now, Miss Renee, the answer to your question is part of a bigger system. So you're not going to understand it as much. But basically, the way we structure our pricing is we have, 4 different ways you could purchase or pay for your program. But what we say is, look, if you're, unlike most martial arts schools, we don't sell memberships. We sell programs based on what your needs and wants are as a student. And we'd like to bring you in to do a free evaluation, not an intro lesson, an evaluation, where we're going to evaluate you or your child on focus, flexibility, balance, and coordination to see which program will be best. But if you're looking for pricing as far as a monthly fee goes, we have programs that start as low as $89 and go up from there, as an example. And that is true depending on the program and which option they want to go with. But we end with a question. If I stop there and just say we have programs that start as low as $89 a month and go up from there, and I stop, they're going to ask another question. What I will say is,
up to.
if that works for your budget, what I'd like to do first is schedule that free evaluation. Make sure you're comfortable with our facility, our instructors. Make sure your child's comfortable if it's a child, and have you come in. I have today at this time or tomorrow at this time, which would be better for you? So we address it. And by the way, everyone asks about cost because they don't know enough about the value and the benefits. So that it's a price thing. And by the way, the cheapest school in town's not always the worst school, but it's not always the best school. If you charge whatever you charge, how do you justify that cost? Well, that's part of a system that we'd be going into seminar mode now. But here's my recommendation for everybody. I mean, no matter what you do, you've got to invest in you, and you got to invest in your business, and you got to find groups out there, consultants, different places. We are one option. But it doesn't have to be us. But you need to invest and try it out to see if it can change the trajectory of your business. And at the end of the day, this is why Maya came up with Maya Foundations. It's a lower price point. It's 4 Zoom calls over 8 weeks, over 2 months. It's every other week. But I would recommend you guys doing that. Another thing here is I'm going to put this up there. If any of you are in the Dallas area, there is we're doing a live event in Dallas coming up in June. Tass, what are the dates on that? June?
Yes,
that's exactly when it is. 25th and 6th.
There you go.
25th and 6th. You guys can sign up as a guest to attend an elite event, as we've opened that up now starting this year to allow just a certain number of non-elite schools to attend an elite event to see what it's all about, to give you, so you can see and make a rational decision, as opposed to making yourself feel better saying, oh, that's just, they can't teach me anything, or they just want to try to get my money, or that's all irrational. That's irrational. Come see for yourself. Then you decide if you would want to do this. But either way, thank you, Mr. Bolton. Yeah, 25th and 26th of June. But we're going to be in Dallas at the Gaylord Texan Hotel, and we'd love to see you guys come out if you can make it out there. But at the end of the day, if nothing else, every single school owner, and I'm not just saying this, should subscribe to Maya Edge. It has business videos, all the tools, the flyers, the social media, calendar for you to just copy and paste to get engagement in your community, live streams in the Maya Edge Facebook members only group. I mean, I just think that's a must for every school owner, because it's this resource center for you to have anything you want at your fingertips, right? Whether it's a phone call script, how to do the phone call right, how to send out marketing materials, business knowledge, watching videos. I mean, that's a must. But if you want to try foundations, you want to come to Dallas, I think you need to try it and then make a rational decision if you think we can help, or any group out there can help. Look, if you ever been to the Martial Arts Super Show, Maya, we allow everybody at the Martial Arts Super Show. Even our competitors are allowed to be a vendor at the Martial Arts Super Show. It's about elevating the industry. So whether you join on board with us or you join on board with someone else, as long as they can deliver and help you, just like you need to deliver and help your students on what they're looking for and what their needs are, right? But at the end of the day, you have to understand the whys behind people are walking into your school or inquiring. You got to understand that. You got to get them to talk about it, to paint a picture for themselves, because that'll inspire themselves. And then Tassoul said, we have all these videos. Well, Tass, last night, Brian was at our Lake Nona school, where I take my daughter. We have several schools in Orlando. He was there last night at the 8:20 p.m. class, the last class of the night. I already have a finished video for teens and adults.
What took him so long?
Yeah, I know. I said, Brian, we got to get this done faster.
Yeah.
I almost was going to show everybody just so they could get a feel, but I don't think it would translate well through the camera and stuff. So I'll show you that when we're done, so you can take a look at it. But it's about if you put videos out for social media, it's got to be inspiring, right? It's got to be inspiring. You got to hit the points that you know people want. Well, we know people want to be in great shape. We know people want to know how to defend themselves. I mean, who would say, no, I don't want to know how to defend myself?
Correct.
They can make jokes and excuses like, oh, I got my gun for that. Well, if you didn't have a gun, would you like to know how to defend yourself or not? Like, yes or no? Like, of course I would, right? That's the stuff you got to focus on. And you got to give. By the way, here's the last part. You got to give. You got to give. Tassoul and I come on this show every single week. We'll do this for as long as we can. And you guys may never sign up for Maya Edge, ever. But we're still going to be giving you tidbits, giving you information to see if we can help. You got to do that in your community. You got to give, and get out there in your community. Okay? Tass, anything else?
Yeah.
What is this? Patrick.
Oh,
hold on.
it's true.
We were stuck at 45 to 50,000 a month for years. I signed up with Elite about 6 months ago. Last month we hit 73,000 in revenue. This month we are on track to hit 80,000 plus, and we haven't even implemented our upgrade systems yet, and things haven't slowed down one bit. We're a very competitive Muay Thai academy, and I was very skeptical of all of this. Now we are changing more and more lives and giving them an even better experience without diluting what we teach. Congratulations, sir. And that's the other biggest misconception.
He's crushing it.
System and styles have no relevancy in the business of martial arts. It doesn't matter what system you teach. Doesn't matter. Okay? We know we can help you. We just know.
Well, I'm not sure if that was us or if that was his profile pic. I mean, maybe he got all those extra people with that badass profile pic he's got.
Could have been, yeah.
He's ripped. Yeah, so listen, going back to Miss Renee here, and Met said it, right? But I also want to make sure you guys understand something about, get around the cost concern, right? We got to remember when people call you, they don't know what else to ask. They just don't know. It's like, well, do you have contracts, or how much does it cost? A lot of times, well, I'm interested in getting my kid to karate. How much does it cost? So we do, right? We find out more, and we flip it with a question. And then if they keep pressing on the price issue, of course, we'll tell them, what it is, right? But I just want you guys to be mindful about that, because Miss Renee, I don't know in the business of martial arts where you fall, if this is new for you, or if you're seasoned or have heard those things or not heard those things. So I just want to be clear about that if someone says, hey, I'm calling, I want to just know how much are karate classes. My response is, fantastic. My name is Shane.
And then he just stops. And it becomes very awkward for the consumer. Oh, there you go. You just stopped and froze on my end. You said, well, that's fantastic. My name is Shane. And you froze. And I said, he just stops, right?
That's it. We just stopped right there. I don't know if I froze for everybody else, but I would just say, fantastic. I'm Shane. I said, I can help with that. Are you looking for yourself or somebody else? Well, I'm looking for my daughter. Great. How old is she? Have she done martial arts before? What are you hoping to accomplish? Now, as I'm pulling and becoming the information, remember on the phone, you want to be the information gatherer, not the information giver. So if you find yourself doing all the talking, you need to let that flip, and you need to get the answers, ask the questions to get the answers from them. And then we let them know, hey, look, we do a free evaluation lesson, ... Well, I just really need to know how much it is. Well, then that's when we're going to go into what Metzger said before, and we'll break it down for them and make it easy. But oftentimes, the first question, hey, do you guys teach Muay Thai? Do you teach karate? Do you teach it? Hey, that's terrific. I can help you with that. Are you looking for yourself or your daughter or your child, right? Well, my daughter, how old is she? Well, she's 8. Well, what are you hoping for to accomplish? Well, we really want her to be able to defend herself. Well, she doesn't need Muay Thai just to defend herself. All of us can teach her how to defend herself, right? So don't get caught up on some of those semantics. And we do a role play, and we ask we're really obscure questions in the role play for the first question. So we'll say, hello, thank you for calling Championship Martial Arts. How may I help you today? And they'll say, do you teach karate? How much does it charge? Do you have contracts? Do you have this? I don't care what they say. We're going to say, fantastic, I can help you with that. And then we just move on. But sometimes when you're not ready for that call, and here's where I learned this years ago. Hey, do you guys spar? I said, absolutely, we spar. Oh, well, sorry, then we have to call the next school. My son can't do that. He's got a detached retina. If he gets hit to the head, he could go permanently blind. And then I was backpedaling. Well, wait. He doesn't have to spar. So I always want to find out why they're asking the questions, right? And this is where we play information gather. So maybe a little bit deeper on the phone script that we needed to go. But these are the types of things that we can help so much with, because everything in our business that we do is all about presentation, whether it's the phone call, it's the program, it's the pricing structure, the schedule, testing fees, whatever. It's all about presentation. And when you understand the presentation, there's no selling. I mean, it's just easy, it's simple, and it's, most importantly, in my opinion, it's duplicatable and replicatable, and anybody can do it. And that's where we can really start to impact more lives, because we can grow. The harder we make our system to teach, the harder it is for us to find people to help us, and the harder it is for us to grow. So if we can make our systems very simplified and easy in our schools, that anybody can do it, we have a great opportunity to expand and really share our vision and share what we do with everybody else and the most people possible.
And at the end of the day, if anybody does have a mental block that's watching this, let me ask this question. Do you think a school that provides high quality martial arts instruction, that makes a lot of money, that's in a small community, exists? Do you think that school exists? Or do you think there's not one school on this planet that provides high quality martial arts instruction, makes a lot of money, and is in a small community? Well, the answer is, of course, there's schools like that exist. Then why aren't you one of those schools? I mean, you got to understand, anytime you start giving excuses on why you can't do it, you just don't know how to do it. I mean, you got to humble yourself. You got to humble yourself and understand there are no excuses if that's what you want. But not everybody may want that. I don't understand why you wouldn't want that. If you're teaching martial arts, I don't understand why you wouldn't want to impact more people. I don't understand why you wouldn't want to make more money for your time. I don't understand that. But frankly, I don't believe you. I don't believe it. I just think it's a justification and a self-defense because you're not doing it, right? But you can make a decision to learn. You can listen and take some things, and nobody can force you to do anything. But look, we'd love to help you. We'd love to get the opportunity to help you, right? So if you want to schedule a one-on-one with a My Edge team member, it's free. You can schedule a one-on-one just to see what the resource center, the Edge site, can provide for you to make your life easier. If you want to try it, and then make a rational decision. Either A, hey, I'm going to pay for this, but I really think it's going to 10 times my return. I think I'm going to well, then you do it. But if you think I'm going to pay for this and I don't think I'm going to make even this much to pay for it, you don't do it. It's that simple. But start doing things that's going to help you get closer to where you want to be. Well, instead of being on this cycle. Go ahead, Tassoul.
I mean, to your point, take them up on the My Edge tour, and so they can go through it with you. I'm just going to call it out, man. First of all, most of you don't have a 3-month plan in your school, right? Sometimes we don't even have a 1-month plan. It's a 3-month plan. It rolls forward. We're always 3 months ahead of schedule. You've got a plan. You got a plan for recruitment. You got a plan for retention. You got a plan for revenue. And then you have all the supporting documents, all the supporting videos. I mean, and you hear this in the industry, but it is the least expensive staff member you'll ever have. I mean, there's no way you can get all this stuff done. I don't care if you go to Fiverr and say, hey, create this for me. Your time as a martial artist, and if you love doing Photoshop, I'm just telling you, you're spending the wrong time. You're in the wrong place. You're not trying to grow a graphic art business. You're trying to grow a martial arts business. And we've got a phenomenal graphic artist that puts out phenomenal graphics that convert, and it's all done for you. And by the way, you want to go, here's some incentive. The Train All Summer special that we're doing. There's 8 different options for graphics, from posters to postcards to social media posts to cover photos to you name it, Instagram posts. They're all done. And all of them are done for you. It would take you hours to create that. And that is not where your time is best spent. Your time, when we say recruiting doesn't mean you spend all your time creating flyers on Photoshop. That's not recruiting. Recruiting is get the flyer, get the postcard, and let's go get it out there, right? So just think about what it is. What's the busy that we're working on? I say this because I remember sitting in front of Microsoft Publisher with a blank page and be like, all right, I got to create a flyer for this. What do I want? Well, okay, let me try this. And it would take me hours to do a flyer. And that in and of itself, not to mention all the videos, all the pricing structure, all the stuff that you get. I mean, go look for yourself. It's unbelievable. And we'd love to have all you guys on there. So anyways, I just get passionate about it because sometimes I forget how powerful it is because we use it every single day and it's just normal for us, right? So check it out.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us. This was a long one. This was an hour. We still got a lot of people on. So remember, if you ever have questions during the show, post the questions. We'll always try to address them and answer them. And look, if we can help in any way, let us know. But good luck with everything. Hope everyone's doing well. And if nothing else, we'll see everyone next Thursday. Right, Tass?
Yes, sir.
All right, Tass, I'm going to call you. I'm going to show you this video.
All right, buddy. Sounds good. Thanks,
Okay, guys,
everybody.
have a great one. Take care,
Be good.
everyone.
All right.
Bye.